Ho ho ho! Welcome to Gourmet, the channel where I cook my way through all the cookbooks I own and have never used. We're gonna lean into the holiday spirit here with some recipes that I think would be fun to make for a holiday dinner, Christmas dinner. My family goes really big on Christmas Eve. That's kind of our big meal. So I've just kind of picked stuff that I think would be fun for that. We do a potluck style, so it's not really sit down and, eat a formal dinner, but hey, it is what it is. We're gonna make this work. I've picked some stuff that I think will be pretty fun. So today we're working from Taste of Home magazine, and we'll be making some spinach turnovers. These sounded good. Honestly, I picked them because I thought they'd be nice to just like a little appetizer thing to pick up with your hands and walk around while you have a party. So let's get started. So to start these spinach turnovers, we need to beat softened butter and softened cream cheese together in a bowl. It's 2 packages of 8-ounce cream cheese, which I didn't read. I read it as 1 softened package. So I had to go out today and buy some more cream cheese, but that's okay because I went to Trader Joe's because I was influenced to buy the stuffing potato chips, the like stuffing flavored potato chips. Don't know how good they are. I haven't tried them yet, but we're gonna try it. The internet made me buy it, right? That's how that goes. Okay, let's get this open. Here we go. We have our cream cheese. Come on. There we go. Cream cheese, and then this is our butter. It's 3/4 of a cup or 5 tablespoons. I melted it instead of softened it because I forgot to take this out of the fridge. The dough has to sit for 2 hours, so I'm making this ahead of time, which is kind of why I wasn't prepared. I didn't remember that part of the recipe. I clearly didn't read it well. I missed the cream cheese. I missed the dough resting. I don't know what I'm doing here. But here's our butter. Just gonna dump that in there. And then basically what's happening, I'm gonna cream these together. And then while that's creaming, I'm gonna measure out our flour. We need 2.5 cups, and then we'll put the flour in here once these guys are combined. So here's what our dough looks like. The recipe does say the dough will be stiff, which is fine. But you know what I'm just now realizing I forgot to do? I forgot to add salt. Let's just go ahead and... There we go. It's at a 1/2 teaspoon. That's close enough. Part of the reason I wanted to make this was because I thought it would be... I've never seen a dough made with cream cheese before, so I think it's pretty interesting. Now, I am noticing that my cream cheese didn't mix in all the way. I'm seeing some patches of cream cheese, and I don't know if that's right or not, but we're moving forward. Now, the recipe does say to dump this out on a lightly floured surface and knead 10 times. In the spirit of just not getting anything else dirty right now, I'm just doing this in the bowl. That may be the wrong choice, but that's okay. We've done it before, we'll do it again. And I've definitely kneaded more than 10 times, but I'm just trying to get a little bit more of that cream cheese incorporated. But I've never had a cream cheese dough that I'm aware of, so I'm excited to try these. I just think it's going to be interesting. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Now we're going to cover this, refrigerate it for 2 hours. So I'll see you guys probably when we're ready to make the filling, just before this comes out of the fridge. We are with our next step in the process for our spinach, what are they called? Turnovers. Our dough is resting. We still have a little bit of time left on that, but we're going to go ahead and start on the filling because the filling has to cook and then cool. So we need 5 bacon strips diced. I might not dice them, but 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5. Here we go. Here's our bacon strips. And then I'm just going to put that to the side right now. What I'm actually going to do is just chop them with scissors. I don't want to get a knife dirty. And then I'm honestly, I'm just trying to save the cutting board and some extra cleaning. So, okay. So you can see we've kind of gone for about that size. I know that these will bake down, and I mean, they're not going to be that thick. It's all slices of bacon put together. But I'm going to wash my hands real quick, put the scissors away, and honestly, we're just going to start cooking this bacon. So here's our little bacon bits. You can see they crisp up super nicely. We just have them draining on a paper towel. And then I did go ahead and took out a little bit of the extra, what's it called? Bacon fat. Because we are going to add an onion, cook onion, add in a little bit of garlic with our onion. So we wanted to save a little bit of that bacon fat, but not a lot. I am going to go ahead and chop this onion in half. We only need a 1/4 cup of onion. So I'm just going to go with half. Let's go ahead. We're going to peel our onion. There we go. Now, the recipe didn't specify what kind of onion to use, so I went ahead and picked a sweet onion. They might have wanted you to do like a yellow onion, but oh well. I really lost my train of thought there. I think a sweet onion will be pretty good in this. I like sweet onions overall anyways. I think they caramelize a little nicer. I like their taste better. So if a recipe doesn't specify and just says onion, I do typically go towards a sweet onion. Okay, let's get that there. There we go. Now that's definitely more than a 1/4 cup of onion, but it'll cook down. I'm not that worried about it. And you know me, I love some good onion. So if we have too much onion, I don't think it's a bad thing. There we go. Get that there. Pick that one up. I'm going to give these guys a nice stir. We're just cooking these until soft is all we're doing. And I know that there's definitely some big pieces in here, which I'll try to kind of cut up as I go, as I stir. But what I went ahead and did was I turned off the heat. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and add in my garlic cloves. We need 2 garlic cloves. I'm just using pre-minced garlic. You know me. And we're just going to, that's a little too much, but look, they're going to be delicious no matter what. So even if they don't turn out pretty, I know these are going to taste good. And I've just got this off heat. There we go. Just kind of stirring that around a little bit. Now we are going to add in the bacon, spinach, cottage cheese, and our seasonings. So this is our chopped spinach. It's said to use a frozen 10-ounce package. We've been thawing this. I've been thawing this pretty much all morning, and we are going to dump it into a paper towel and squeeze out all the water. As predicted, that did not go well. It's also still a little frozen, and I have destroyed the paper towel. So I might saute the spinach for a little bit, just to get some of that extra moisture out. And we're just moving slow to make sure we get out all the paper towel. You know, I foresaw this being an issue. I just didn't think it would be that much of an issue. Okay, well, I am feeding these to somebody, so I'm trying not to get any paper towels still on there. That's ice. That's ice. That's great. Okay, so there's that whole frozen bit. we'll just cook this for a little bit. I'm gonna go wash my hands. Okay, so since this is still a little frozen, the spinach, I have turned my burner back on, and I'm just gonna cook this for a couple minutes just to make sure all the moisture is out, because I didn't expect the middle to still be frozen, and it was frozen solid, like you saw. So, oops. I've turned off the pan. I've what? We're letting the spinach just kind of warm, which I think it probably has. So now we can go ahead and stir in our bacon. Make sure we get all the little pieces. And then we need 1 cup of 4% cottage cheese. So I'm just using this Daisy cottage cheese. It's 4%. It happened to be the cheapest when I was at the store, so that's what I went ahead and bought. A measuring cup. I am going to actually measure out the cottage cheese. I don't work with cottage cheese a lot, so I don't want to add too much or too little. We'll do another big scoop. Wow. Okay. Plop. There we go. So that was probably a majority of a 16-ounce thing of cottage cheese. I'm going to go ahead, give these guys a stir. That's still really hot. Ow, the pot is still hot. It's off the heat, but it is cast iron, so. Okay, so there's our cheese. We're going to add in a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, which I'm going to say looks like that. We'll add in the same amount of pepper. That's a lie. I'm probably going to add in a little bit more pepper. There we go. We need a 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg. So here's our nutmeg. We're just gonna, oh, I didn't open it. Okay. How much? An 1/8 teaspoon of nutmeg. Okay. So not a lot of nutmeg. Does that look like an 1/8 teaspoon to you guys? I'm gonna say we're done with the ground nutmeg. And that's it. So we'll give these guys a stir. I really thought there was more in that than this, but whatever. Give these guys a stir, and I'm going to set this off to the side to cool. And once it's cool, we'll be ready to actually make our turnovers. So here we are. I went ahead and split our dough into quarters, just because I'm not 100% sure how this is going to go. But I'm going to go ahead and get our oven on 400 degrees. Now's about the time. We have our filling back here, and we have a pan with a parchment sheet over here. What we're doing is we're rolling this dough according to the recipe to 1/8 in thickness. So however thick that is, I don't know. But we have our handy dandy rolling pin. We're just gonna coat that in some flour real quick. No, obviously this is not the best workstation, but you know, we make do with what we have. As I put my finger in the flour and just cause it to go literally all over. I was trying not to make a mess, you know. I'm just gonna try to wipe off some extra flour and make even more of a mess, but that's okay. That's why we clean. We're done with the stovetop for right now. So now we need to cut 3-inch circles into our dough. So I have this cup here. I'm just gonna put some flour on it, and I actually did measure this. This is 3 inches. So that's about how big we want this to go. The recipe, come on. The recipe says that this will make about 4 dozen. We'll see. I might not make 4 dozen. I might stop at like who knows how many truly. Just because there's only 2 of us eating these, and I might save the dough for another day. I really just want to know how this dough uh, is going to bake up. So I'm gonna try to get this back together. When it's this little amount of dough, I always do it in my hands. And I don't know if that's right or not, but it always feels right and it works. So, it's not pretty, but it will do the job. Spoon acquired. We're going to do this. It says to take a nice, what is it? A heaping teaspoon. So maybe that's more of a tablespoon. Okay, I'm going to call that there. And then I am not prepared at all for this. At all. Okay. Let's wipe our hands off. We have 1 egg that I've already beaten off to the side here. What we need to do is fold over and seal the edge. We brush the edges with the egg, fold this over, seal the edges. So I'm just going to brush it with my fork, which, yeah, okay. Maybe not the best move, but too bad. Okay. And then I'm going to fold this over. I definitely overfilled this one. Okay. It may leak, it may not. I'm just going to wipe my hands off again. And then what we're supposed to do is prick the tops with a fork. Okay. So there's one that's already coming apart. Oh no. This doesn't bode well. This one's going to be terrible. We'll try again. Here's a little bit. Get a little bit. Try that. Maybe that's the right size? I don't know. Try to paint our edges with a little less egg, but enough egg to maybe let them stick. Push this back and roll over. And I'm pushing the sides together. Okay, so that one looks a little better. Take my fork and prick it, set it to the side. And we'll do one more together. This is the hard part. This filling part is the hard part. Okay. That. Okay. I think that one has a little too little filling, maybe? Whatever. I'm basically folding this and squishing together the sides and then pricking the top. Okay, so there's that one. I definitely need to figure out the filling ratio for sure, but these aren't looking too bad. So I'm going to make these, and I'll see you guys before these go in the oven. So here are our turnovers. We got, how many? So we have 14 out of the kind of, just under half of the dough. So I don't know how you get 4 dozen, but we tried our best. A better person than me might be able to get more, or I rolled it too thick. I don't know, but we're gonna go ahead and just get these brushed with egg. I've got it on a piece of parchment paper because that's how the magazine shows that they're cooked. But you could just probably bake these on, a nice nonstick pan, which is technically what I'm baking it on. But we're going to put these in the oven for 10 minutes at 400 degrees. So I'll see you when these are, Actually, I'll see you when we're ready to try these. I'm pretty excited. The filling tasted good. So we've just gotten our turnovers out of the oven. Uh, we'll bring the plate. Here's what they look like. They actually look pretty good. I'm just going to pick one up and get a little closer. So I definitely could have done better closing the sides, but the top has a nice golden brown to it. The bottom has a nice crust. They feel pretty fluffy. It's still pretty hot, but they've been resting for like 7 minutes. So I'm just gonna bite into one and see how we go. That's pretty good. Um, Maybe the dough was a little thick, but that's on me. I wouldn't have rolled it thin enough. And obviously, if you roll it thinner, you'll get more puffs out of it or turnovers. The dough is really interesting, though. I like it. I like the texture of it. It's nice and fluffy. The filling, I just want more filling, but that's going to be a problem no matter what when the filling is really good. My real complaints on this recipe were that the cookbook said it was going to take like 40 minutes total, plus letting the dough set in the fridge. I think it took probably closer to like an hour and 15 minutes for me. It took about 10 minutes to make the dough, and then the insides came together fairly quickly, but I would argue more than 20 minutes because they also had to cool. And then I think if you're going to make these, wrangle in some family members or some friends or some neighbors, whoever you know, and have them come over and just fold those for you. I hated that part. I've never enjoyed that part. I've actually made like homemade fortune cookies and stuff before, and they're just, I hate folding. I hate doing the folding. Um, so I think maybe this recipe gets like a 7. I think it's good. I want more of the filling. The recipe book does say that you can serve them with like a salsa. I think that's kind of weird. But I could definitely see some sort of dip with these. I just don't think salsa's the right vibe. But I like these. I am glad I have leftovers because I'll probably make more. It's gonna be nice to be able to make more. But the ingredients were easy to find. The recipe was easy to follow. It just took a lot longer than I thought. So, there's that. But I like this one. Like I said, I think it's a solid 7. It could be done better. It could have been done way worse. And for a bread dough that I've never had, I think it's pretty good. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.